Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we're gonna go over who I think can be the villain of Superman Legacy. Now I'm gonna talk about rumor character and characters I think have a possibility to be the villain. And just to make sure there's no way that I can know who is going to be the villain. This is just who I think has the most probability and who has the lowest probability to be the villain of this movie. And some of those characters might end up being in the movie in smaller role. So again, take all of this with a grain of salt. There's no way I personally know what's going to happen. So with that out of the way, let's get started. The first villains I want to talk about is Manchester Black and the Elite. Now I'm gonna say it right away. This is highly unlikely. I know that there is Superman's Legacy might take some inspiration from that type of comic book run. Superman is kindness itself, but in a world I think that kindness is old fashioned. But then again, I think those characters are unlikely because of the authorities who is showing up as well in this universe. The authority will work much better as a villain for Superman in a sequel to this movie. Again, there's no way for me to possibly know what's going to happen, but I do believe that the Elite is one of the most unlikely candidates for this movie, mostly because of the authorities. They have been done in an earlier Superman animated movie, and I think that movie was great. I think the Elite was great in that movie. So again, I don't hate the idea of those characters being the villains, but I find it too much unlikely for it to happen. I'm sorry to all of you Elite fans, but there's just no way. Another villain I find completely unlikely to be the main villain of Superman Legacy is Darkseid. I'm gonna say it right away. I don't know if Darkseid is gonna be used in this universe or not, but if he is, there's no way they're just gonna use him in Superman Legacy. They might hint at him in that movie, but he's not gonna be the main villain. Darkseid is a Justice League threat, so if they're gonna use him, they're probably gonna use him in a Justice League movie. Again, probably not the first movie, maybe the second movie, maybe in chapter 2, who knows? But there's just no way they're gonna use him as the main villain in a first movie of this universe. So again, Darkseid, highly unlikely. Two other characters that I think has a little bit more likelihood than Darkseid and the Elite, but I'm not convinced that those two characters will be the main villains or either one of them, and that is Parasite and Metallo. No, don't get me wrong, both of them have main villain potential, but there's one thing, neither one of them have been hinted at by James Gunn. They haven't been hinted at them. So that in itself makes this seems a little bit unlikely. Maybe James Gunn isn't going to reveal every hint towards the villains. Maybe he keeping something to himself. Who knows? But those two characters haven't been hinted at, and both those characters could also serve as secondary villains. Let's say it this way, Metallo often is connected to Lex Luthor due to the kryptonite in his core. So again, if you're gonna bring in him, there's big signs that they have to bring in Lex Luthor or bring in some other big businessman, and that will mean Metallo in its alone will not be the main villain. Parasite again ended up becoming a monster because he got exposed to something. I'm not really remembering Parasite origin, but I know there was some accident that made him that way. I'm sure of it. Or maybe I'm just remembering the Superman cartoon. Either way, both of those mean that someone else could be a bigger villain. And I don't think James Gunn wants to do that. So again, more possible than the two earlier entry on this list, but again, I don't think it will be either of them. There's been talk that Jason Momoa is gonna quit Aquaman and play Lobo instead, and I believe this could actually be true. I think he will work really well as Lobo, but as a main villain for a Superman Legacy, I don't think that is a big possibility. I think he might show up in the movie as maybe a side villain, but I don't think he's gonna start out his career as Lobo as the main villain, especially since Lobo could carry a movie on his own. So again, I would actually like to see it happen, but likelihood is that it won't happen. Lobo is also one of those characters that has been hinted at by James Gunn, and that makes it a little more likely that it will show up in this universe. As for another potential character that could show up is Bloodsport, but Bloodsport is not main villain material, and there is the whole thing with the Suicide Squad and all that. So I do believe that Bloodsport is one of the least likely character to be a villain in this movie. Maybe he show up in a cameo, maybe he's mentioned, but I don't think he will be a villain in this movie. So again, some of you might want to see it, but I don't see it likely, and I actually want to see it happen. Another villain I don't think is likely as a main villain is Titanium. He's not main villain material, but I can see him working for someone else. That I do believe is a possibility for this movie. It has been hinted at by James Gunn, so this is a likely scenario that he will show up in the movie and be working for someone. That is a possibility. But as for a main villain, not a chance. The next character I want to talk about is Brainiac. No, I'm gonna say it right away. Brainiac is one of the characters I want to show up in this universe the most. I would love for him to be the villain of Superman Legacy, but here is the thing. Brainiac hasn't been hinted at that much, and there was a polling suggesting which character fans will see the most, a top 10 list if you like, and James Gunn replied to that it will 5 out of 10 do. And that means we can already rule out 3 characters: Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Lobo. That doesn't mean that Brainiac could show up in Superman Legacy, but with this one and the fact that there has been little hint about Brainiac, does put a little bit of grim picture for the chance of Brainiac being the villain of this movie. Don't get me wrong, maybe he show up in chapter 2, maybe, and the thing is that the reason why I still think that Brainiac has a biggest chance than the other characters that I have talked about up till now is because Brainiac hasn't been done in a live action movie. He showed up in a few animated movies, he showed up in the Krypton show and a few animated series, but as for a live action movie, I've never seen Brainiac in a live action movie. And I remember that I have seen every Superman movie. So again, there is a possibility that he can show up as the main villain, but I don't think it is a big possibility. Another character I think can be the main villain of Superman Legacy is Mongol. And I'm gonna say it right away, I still don't think that he will be the main villain. Maybe he could be the villain of a sequel. Maybe it's a villain of a Justice League movie. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't think he will be the main villain of Superman Legacy. Don't get me wrong, I can be wrong. That he has a bit of possibility to be the villain, but he hasn't been hinted at by James Gunn, and that is why I don't think it's that likely. Just like Brainiac, he had more chance than some of the other characters on this list, but as for now, I don't think it's that likely. You all probably know that I was going to talk about this character, but as for Lex Luthor, he is a character I'm a little bit divided on. He's been in almost every Superman movie already, but that's the thing, I've never seen a really good version of him. I've seen him in Supergirl Soul, I didn't like him there, and I've seen him in the Justice League and Young Justice and a few other animated movies. I always feel like when he is in one of those shows and in Smallville, that he have been better than he have been in the movies, live action. So I will want to see a good live action movie version of Lex Luthor. But again, he's been done so many times that I feel like I want to see someone else. I don't think Lex Luthor is so likely to be the main villain. There might be hint at Lex Luthor in this movie, but I do believe that he's not likely to be the main villain. I do believe that role be served for another character. Again, if they can make him a little bit more like he was in the Superman cartoon and the Justice League Unlimited here, maybe having a suit like he had when he was merged with Darkseid, no, with Brainiac. Sorry, I said a little bit wrong there, but giving a suit that looks similar to when he was merged with Brainiac is something I think could be completely awesome. I think fans of that show will lose their mind. I think DC Comics fans will lose their minds as well. Again, it's a possibility. I don't know. Now for the last character, and the one I think has the biggest possibility to be the villain of Superman Legacy, is Ultra Humanite. Someone will say, but he is just a society villain. But here's the thing, Ultra Humanite was actually one of Superman's first villains. He was actually Superman's arch enemy for a while until Lex Luthor was created. And even more importantly, he is main villain material. This is the type of character James Gunn liked to work with. So again, the fact that James Gunn is the one writing Superman Legacy, the fact that this is a character that he'd like to work with, or type of character he liked to work with, the fact that he has never been used in a live action movie, and before you say it, I know he was in the Stargirl TV show in season 3, I think it was, but except from that, he's never been in a live action movie, and he has been hinted at. Of course, he has been hinted at with multiple other monkey type characters, so again, that's that, but he has been hinted at. I think he is one of the most likely candidates for being the main villain of Superman Legacy. I honestly believe this will happen. And that's it for this video. Do you agree with me? Do you think that any of those characters can be the main villain for Superman Legacy? Do you think they can be a side villain for Superman Legacy? let me know in the comment section down below, and I would like to see you guys again next time.